Welcome back, Withdrawal Warriors. If you're new here, my name is Dorian. I would appreciate very much if all of you would like and share to help somebody else. This is unfortunately a problem that is definitely not talked about enough. And of course, for notifications for more, subscribe and hit the bell. And I'm really glad you're here. I am going to share with you, if I keep looking down, I have notes because it's a lot. I'm going to share with you what I tried and some things that I've heard can help with withdrawal. Some of the things I tried might have helped a little bit, and some of them did not help. If anything, made me feel worse, or were just plain old not wise things to do. But I'm going to be transparent and honest and go through the list. I'm going to start with sleep. I had severe insomnia to the point where it felt to me like my brain forgot how to sleep. I didn't know it was possible to go, like days and days and days and days without sleep, or maybe I was sleeping. Like the first week, I think I got 3 hours roughly, and I don't know if I was actually sleeping or not. It probably wasn't true sleep, but on with it. Okay, so for sleep, I'm gonna start with magnesium. You can find magnesium powder at like the drugstore, and I'm sure a lot of your typical stores. I don't know if that helped or not. It probably did something. It's magnesium after all. I also used Sleepy Time Extra. That has valerian root in it, which is known to help with sleep. And I was kind of doubling up to where I was putting the magnesium powder in the Sleepy Time tea. My psychiatrist, of course, wasn't necessarily happy to hear that because he said, well, how do you know what's working? And I'm thinking, I don't care as long as I get some sleep. Maybe the combination of time also seemed to help when I did those. I tried a canned drink that I got from Walmart. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I know it contained L-theanine, which I have heard can help quite a bit. You can take it just as a supplement. That drink seemed to work really well. I think it also had melatonin in it, if I can find out what it is. But it was a canned drink in a skinny little can, and they made different varieties for different uses. So I tried the sleep one because I was going to try anything, and that seemed to work pretty well. Melatonin, of course, lots and lots of melatonin. The first few days when I was having issues sleeping, I was taking melatonin and Benadryl, and it did not touch the insomnia. I believe it was, you'll typically find melatonin in like 2.5, 5 milligrams. I was probably taking up to 10, thinking, well, if that doesn't do it, it's probably useless after that. Benadryl, the typical over-the-counter sleep medication, has 50 milligrams of diphenhydramine, which is the generic. You'll find it in Unisom and NyQuil and all that over-the-counter stuff. You don't want to overdose on it. You're not going to die, but you're going to feel pretty loopy. And some people are sensitive to it. I've heard this before, and I'm not trying to scare you, but being honest, can make you psychotic. But that I've heard usually happens in older women, probably like 50 and older. But of course, do your research. I'm going to constantly say that research is your best friend. On to cannabinoids, marijuana, if you will. I tried CBD, which a lot of us have heard of for things like pain and relaxation. The first time I tried CBD, I think I took like too much to where I was foggy the next day. I mean, I was in a fog the whole next day. I can't even remember what the dosage was. They were gummies. I want to say it was like 50 milligrams, but I'm totally guessing because it was a while ago. And I was taking that on a regular basis. I of course, I dialed back the dose a little bit, but I think tolerance is a thing as well. Let me also just slide in there. Everything I'm saying right now is going to be at your own discretion, at your own risk, whatever works for you. I'm heavily emphasizing this is what I tried. Not all of it was wise. Not all of it worked. Some of it did. Then there's CBN, which I found in a sublingual spray. I sprayed it under my tongue. I didn't know CBN was a thing until I went searching for like CBD products, and they said it was even more relaxing and known for sleep. So what did I do? I tried it, of course, and it was expensive, but I tried it. I think that was doing okay also. Again, I can't say that there was really a silver bullet for any of this, and my symptoms were so up and down when I was tapering that it's hard to say if anything really made a dent. But maybe it did help. Then there was actually smoking marijuana. I had did that in the past, and going through the issues that I was going through, wasn't touching it, and then yet again was so desperate. And even the psychiatrist, desperate to try to give suggestions, even asked me if I tried that. Well, it made me feel horrible. Being so tired and fatigued, and then smoking marijuana. I think I had like a racing heartbeat. I felt like garbage. So for some people it might work, and for me, I felt crappy. There was a sleep tincture when I went to a homeopathic doctor. Oh, acupuncture would be on here too, but I was going to put that also in the more general list of things that I tried. I wasn't aware that acupuncture, I guess you would say, isn't necessarily like kosher in the Christian community, but and I wasn't where I am spiritually. However, I went to her. She has all like the potions and the supplements and so on and so forth. And I tried a sleep tincture, which I do particularly remember having kava, or some would say kava in it. It's kind of bitter tasting. It had a whole bunch of stuff in it, but she kind of like, I'm going to call it a potion. She threw this potion together, and I think it worked to the point where I bought it was $20 a bottle. I think it was like 3 ounces, maybe. It was a small bottle, $20. I was going to like pay anything from what little I had. But I think it worked well enough for me to get a second bottle at some point. There was, I do have acupuncture on there. There were apps. If you haven't heard of binaural beats before, you put the headphones in and it plays these oscillating sounds in your ear, which entrains, or in other words, affects your brain waves. So these sounds that I was listening to, many of them combined with like relaxing meditations or bedtime stories, were to manipulate my brain waves in a way and to where I could like relax and fall asleep. I did find that typically would help. Sometimes it didn't, and the whole thing would play. I don't even know, it'd be 30, 45, an hour, and the whole thing would play and I would still be awake. But I do recall that having an impact in a positive way to help me get to sleep. That app that I use is called Insight Timer, and that has a lot of meditations in there. Meditations in the sense of not the clearing your mind meditation, but concentrating on things and methods to help you relax. And some of these meditations were combined with the binaural beats. If you're spiritual or Christian in particular, this is going to be at your own discretion whether you think that is okay with your beliefs. What I did find out accidentally was listening to the news. barely audible, because if I was hearing it, it was gonna, keep my mind going. But just to hear kind of like some droning and chatter in the background, I accidentally figured that out because I fell asleep to the news one day. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, so maybe I was just tired, but I thought, hey, I had been up all night long, and here I am at like 6 or so in the morning, and I lay down on the couch and the news was playing and I fell asleep. I said, hey, maybe that'll work. So that's what I started to do. I have satellite radio, so I would put the news on, again, just so I would hear this droning, and it helped me go to sleep a lot of the times, which is really awesome. I had tried benzos. I don't remember if it was, I think it was like Xanax or something like that. I do not recommend that. That is how a lot of us have gotten into the situation in the first place. Again, just about every, if not actually all of these methods were out of desperation. I was like reaching for like anything. I would take just about anything. I think, I don't even remember the benzos worked. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. They probably did, or got me more relaxed. It was only 1 or 2 at the most. And you are not recommended to take benzos for longer than 14 days or you're kind of screwed. So heads up to all of those prescribers out there who are doling them out 30 days plus at a time. And if you don't know and you are prescribed them, I don't recommend that. Okay, good old counting sheep. Try that. Don't know if it worked, but I tried that. And then another one of the least recommended thing to try is alcohol. Yeah, I resorted to drinking. I can't even remember that it was so much about getting to sleep as it was, I am so sad to say this, but I'm putting it out there, drinking through the pain. The body sensation of like the tiredness and the fatigue and feel just, it was such a disgusting feeling. I would kind of push through to the evening and have something to drink to where I would feel the buzz of the alcohol as opposed to whatever it was that was making my body feel horrible. That's a horrible thing to do. It is probably going to make the situation worse with withdrawal. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't a wise choice, but it's how I coped. And I can't emphasize enough how I don't recommend that. But again, being transparent, that's what I did. All right, I'm going to move on to some of the more general things that I did to deal with or try to help with my withdrawal. Good old-fashioned sunshine. And I'm going to kind of combine that concept with grounding, or I just call grounding a fancy word for going barefoot. These two methods, sunshine and going barefoot, are actually scientifically proven. Please do your research. Don't take it from me. Up here in Michigan, you can imagine the sunlight is pretty scarce in the cold weather months. So I started going through withdrawal, I'll just say January, in the thick of it, of the cold. And I was getting these suggestions like, go outside and take a walk. And I'm like, absolutely not. I kind of referred to this in another video where some people might try to be helpful and you have to know your limits or what you're willing to do. And I was like, I hate the cold. Yeah, I know I chose to live here, but that's besides the point. I hate the cold. And I was exhausted. And again, this is up to you. Like there can be an opposite effect to getting moving and getting walking, getting up and moving, or the inertia of getting up can help. but the combination of it being so cold, I wasn't willing to do it. I'll admit that. However, when spring did finally come around, I got outside, even though I felt like garbage. And so I was out in the sunshine and I went barefoot. I already love going barefoot, so that was just not a problem for me. I couldn't wait to do that. I actually got the ground wet a little bit, which in my research found out helps the conductivity between earth and your body. But get out and get barefoot. I was able to visit like lakes and things like that and walk on the beach barefoot and wade in the water, which it's actually even good for the soul and good mentally, but I know it also has a positive impact physically. Talking to people. I have mentioned this before. It helps more than you know. Sometimes you have to figure out the hard way who some people aren't good to talk to, but hopefully you have some people that you can call or meet up with and just like bleh. And I had to get over sort of the guilt of talking about it so much. I felt like I was just complaining and whining and stuff like that. But honestly, when you have like a really good like friend, relative, or whoever it might be that will listen, you don't have to worry about that, and they're going to allow you to just get it all out and be there for you and give you a hug that can feel so amazing. One reason why I was even more motivated to finally make this video of what I tried is I'm on a few psych withdrawal medication chats, and even just talking to other people who are going through it or have gone through it. I mean, there's so many resources. If you have a mental health facility that you're currently involved in right now, it can be a little bit harder to find somebody that might be more understanding when they're wrapped up in the system like that. That was my experience. When I would talk to them, they didn't seem to like understand or know what to do. So again, choose wisely, or at least, through trial and error. And, if it doesn't work out, well, not everybody is the person to talk to. Walking, like I said, having my son and taking him to the park and stuff like that, I got my walking in, but it was kind of just like a side thing. Like I didn't walk to try to feel better. It was part of my routine, and I'm sure it did a little something. But again, I can't say that it was like a huge deal. And I finally at some point discovered micro tapering. I have my video on how I did that. There's a couple of them. There's the extended one. I went down by 10%, and then I have the simplified one. The math is a little easier with that one, and it's shorter. So I used a jewelry or micro scale and weighed it and did the math and all that stuff. And if I didn't discover that method, I have no idea what I would do or where I would be. There are other methods. I will, drop the life-saving link that I found to help me through all this, which is survivingantidepressants.org. That's where I got a lot of the suggestions as to what can help, how to taper, how to track your symptoms, so forth. I also see that I didn't mention juicing yet. I have a juicer, and nutrition can play a really big part in your withdrawal. Of course, everybody's nutritional needs are different in general. Of course, there's generalities in terms of what can help us. Again, up here with very little sunlight, I'm pretty sure a vitamin D supplement, or anywhere you are really, I don't really think we get enough vitamin D, but if you're in places where there's not sufficient sunlight, or you're not getting out of the house a lot, maybe you're that exhausted, try at least some vitamin D supplements. And again, do your research. I can't really say it all right here, and I can't make any more suggestions, not being a professional and not, on a personal level either. that is really all I can think of, besides the fact that if you can afford it, when it comes to grounding, there are mats, like I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like plasticky or rubbery or something like that. There are mats that you can buy, and it plugs into the wall. Only the ground part, because that's the whole point of it, is to ground you with the earth. If you're unable to get outside and barefoot, like the case was for me, if you can swing it, get one of those mats. I could physically feel what it is. Everybody's experience is different. My mom was the one that bought it for herself, and she said it helped with her back pain. I personally feel like I'm pretty sensitive to feeling electricity and stuff, and when I would put my hands on it, it was a very, very subtle tingling sensation, so I knew something was happening. If you have any suggestions that you would like to share with the community, we would really appreciate it. We would really appreciate your help. Please tell me what worked. Please tell me what didn't work. Please tell me about suggestions that you've heard about, or other resources that you have found that we can all take a look at. Any research of things that are proven that I've mentioned or haven't mentioned, because we want things that are backed by, science and experience. And of course, let me not forget, Jesus heals. Pray on Jesus. If you are a believer, keep having faith, keep praying to Jesus. If you don't believe in Jesus as your Lord and Savior, what have you got to lose? Pray to Jesus to heal you and watch what happens. My process took just over a year. If you count the first medication I stopped, and then the second medication that I ended up taking for the insomnia, it was roughly 54 weeks. I say roughly because I had a little bit of a break. Anyway, so my point in saying that is that it's not like God snaps his fingers and you're all better. I believe that I went through this process and it took as long as it did, and I am blessed that it wasn't longer, because it drew me into this calling to help other people and to get behind this cause of awareness and helping people. And I will be praying for you. God loves you. Jesus loves you. And I love you. Thanks again.